following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
This is Talkin Cowboys. Streaming live from the Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star in Frisco.
First down, handoff, Elliott plowing to the goal line. Barry, sacked by Lord. Prescott keeps it, and he bangs it in for the touchdown.
Here are Mickey Spagnola, Brian Broaddus, Rob Phillips, and Bill Jones.
Hey, the rain cleared for a little bit. Let's go outside and practice today. How about it? Welcome to Talkin Cowboys. Bill Jones, Brian Broaddus, Rob Phillips, Mickey Spagnola. It's Redskins week, and it's Thursday of Redskins week. Time to get fired up for this game against the division-leading Redskins. But will they still be leading the division come Sunday at about 6:30 Dallas time? You ready to go outdoors and practice today?
Yeah, why not? It's about time.
Yes, that's right. Man, I'm ready for this rain to end.
No, I never. I'm sorry if I'm one of these guys. I never complain about the rain.
Yeah.
Because you're talking about a guy that loves to be on the lake fishing, and I can't stand it when my Bass Lake doesnn't have water in it. But we need the rain. We always need the rain.
Maybe he was going to say he fishes better when it's raining.
There's some fish. Sometimes you get them to school a little bit.
Yeah,
that's true.
Bill missed our show yesterday. Sorry, but I had a lot of people reply that they liked our old back in the day talk that Mickey and I threw down yesterday.
And you kept saying during the show,
I know people
don't want to hear this.
I was worried about that. I'm sorry, I was worried, but I appreciate everybody that tweeted over to me and said, "Hey, I like the old days talk." So I'm glad we did that.
Back in the day, what was the highlight of back in the day talk?
Oh, we just went through and talked about like 1974 leaving a Cowboy game when Clint Longley throws.
Well, that was Cowboy-Redskin related.
Yeah, Mickey wrote a book about the great rivalry. So. Yeah, we kind of, the first segment we went into, Rob was kind of like looking at us like, what are you guys talking about?
No, it was good. It was good.
But, yeah.
Okay, I'll throw my 2 cents worth on that because I came in here wondering about this baseball controversy, their fan interference or whatever, because I did not watch the baseball game. I'm sorry, it's football season, and so I'm focused on the Cowboys, Redskins, whatever. But it got me to thinking, remember one of the Cowboys-Redskins game in the early 90s in Washington, a controversy in the end zone on a fumble or something with Aikman. Do you remember that, Mickey? It was as mad as I've seen Jimmy after
because it was the game that they could have clinched either the division title.
It was a December game.
Or they could have clinched a playoff berth, and Aikman fumbled the ball.
On the goal line.
And Emmett
going in or coming out?
Coming out of the end zone.
Wow, okay.
And Emmett went to try to recover it, and he bobbled it around, and they recovered it and scored a touchdown and beat them. And they had to go to the next week. So I think it was 92 because they had an opportunity to clinch the division title.
Okay.
And that happened, and it turned the game around, and they had to wait till the next week to clinch the title. And that was the one when they flew home, and there was a little too much yakking on the plane.
Oh, jeez.
And he went back there and started yelling and screaming, and as the story goes, that he yelled at the flight attendants to quit serving food. They don't deserve to eat, or something to that effect.
So he went back to the back of the plane and yelled at the players for having too good a time.
After a loss.
It was a loss to the Redskins.
Wow.
It just occurred to me, so I apologize for not
seen that on a road trip, Rob?
I haven't. I've seen that in high school on my Plano Senior High bus, but not with the Cowboys.
Quit serving food.
So if it was 92, it was December 13th of 92, a 20-17 loss to the Redskins.
That's it.
And it's one of those deals where we in the media, we go down to the field with 5-8 minutes left in the game, whatever, and so we don't have access to replay,
That's
watching
why
the
I
TV
don't go
copy.
down anymore,
Yeah, and so I was down on the field at RFK, and so I don't think I ever saw the TV copy of what happened on that play. But it was a play, and that's why it's foggy in my
memory. Hit somebody, knocked the ball loose, Mickey? Do you remember?
Know. But here's what I remember more than anything is Jimmy in the locker room after that game, and the media around Jimmy, and everyone was afraid to ask Jimmy a question. So, I mean, Jimmy, he's pursing his lips, okay? Yeah. Smacking.
Smacking.
And And he may have said something at the beginning, but it wasn't. It was very short, whatever. And then there's this long silence. I mean, maybe someone asked a question that was a very quick answer, curt answer, and then long silence, and then finally I'm like,
if I'm not mistaken, is Washington was the press area? I mean, for that interview,
it was a cramped part of the locker room.
Was he on like a little platform, and everybody was crowded around?
Everyone was crowded around.
Is it one of those kind where you're like a foot away from the guy?
And there was probably only.
Oh, like that right there must have been
and
tough.
Even 1992, we're talking 26 years ago, there was probably only 10 or 12 reporters even around him. That's what my memory is. I may be wrong, but
hell, there was that many from the morning news there.
But there was nobody. Nobody was asking a question, and so finally I'm like, "Are you upset about the call in the end zone?"
And then he went off.
And he said, "I'm upset about a lot of things."
Oh, geez. Okay.
And that was it.
So were you on the charter flight?
I stayed.
You stayed?
It was a late afternoon game.
Right.
And so we were editing up until our live shot at 10 o'clock at I was working at the NBC affiliate then. And so I was not on the charter going back, but I heard the stories.
Yeah, and I wasn't on
And I'm not at all surprised how mad Jimmy was, because I've never – well, the only other time was a Giants game.
Well, the last one of the the second to last one of the 1989 season.
Well, with
right?
Buddy, yeah.
No, the Giants game.
I thought you were talking about.
No, because that was the game. They had like 3 possessions inside the 10-yard line, or there was a couple possessions like first and goal at the 2, and they couldn't get in.
Oh, geez.
And it was a shutout. It was like 12-0 or 15-0. Look it up. And it was bitterly cold, and they couldn't get the ball into the end zone. So the Giants game at the end of the season, 89.
Okay.
And
over to 89.
And
looking at 92.
It was a shutout, right?
Yes, 15-0.
15-0. Was it the final game of the season? No,
it was second to last, because Green Bay was the last game.
Was here.
That's when we
in the frozen tundra.
Yeah.
Anyway, Jimmy started yelling and screaming, and he called all the assistant coaches off the bus and chewed them out, right?
God.
And in
on the tarmac or at the stadium?
At the stadium.
Nice.
Yeah, like they were on the bus ready to
go.
go.
Old school,
and
man.
I love that.
He got them out. And then he, in the post-game press conference, he said, "We just aren't strong enough. We got to be stronger." And he blamed Bob Ward,
Tom Landry's guy,
Tom Landry's strength and conditioning coach.
Exactly.
God bless him. He's 90-some years old now, and he was ahead of his time.
Way ahead of his time. Yeah.
When we were walking off, Dennis Thurman was talking about what a good strength and conditioning coach Bob Ward was.
Yeah.
Well, Jimmy blamed it, and I swear to God, as soon as the season was over, they relieved Bob Ward of his job.
There you go.
Yeah.
But Bob Ward was fired that day.
He complained that they weren't strong enough to get in the end zone, and he had Broderick Sargent and Daryl Johnson playing tailback.
So he was just venting, basically, at anything.
Yes.
All right, okay, all due respect to that one.
That was a hot
The
one.
other one, though, against the Giants at New York was 1991, a 22-9 loss, and the referees were...
Oh, yes.
were awful that game. And that was the famous line from Jimmy. And I don't remember the exact specifics of what he was venting about.
There was
but that's
a couple
when he
calls that were really sketchy.
We still have that today.
Yeah,
the worst was changed.
The worst I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Ever. Since my daddy said this is what you call a football.
or something about blowing up the football or something. It was he was brilliant because they played poorly, and we were in that little room at Giant Stadium, and he did that, and then he stomped off. So now he didn't have to answer any questions about how poorly they played. Yeah. Right? He just put it on.
But
the
I want to say
referees.
it was on the referees, and it was the worst I've ever seen. Ever.
Since my daddy said this was
Since my daddy said this is what you call a football.
Jeez.
Oh, Jimmy.
Or the time he threw the fit at Valley Ranch on the Tuesday press conference, and he was already mad. And it was after a loss, and he was trying to send a message to the team, like, you better beware because Jimmy's mad. He got up there. He said what he had to say. He answered one question. He didn't like it, and he stomped off. And I found afterwards that he had already planned to walk out of there.
I don't know if this is the same one as what I was involved in. Okay, you remember something funny, Ed? Something humorous?
Yes,
Okay, that was after a Monday. That was a Monday press conference after a loss where – I guess Jimmy got up to leave. We were in the little library at Valley Ranch. That was where they would have the Monday day after press conference. And Jimmy got up to leave, and I guess Ed Werder was laughing or something. I don't know. And he said
smiling.
Smiling, had a look on his face. And Jimmy's like, something funny, Ed, something humorous as he storms out. I had a similar incident. It might have been that same press conference you're talking about. John Radigan was sitting next to me, and it was one of those tense press conferences. And we were just kind of smiling at each other, and Jimmy sees me, and he says, "You got a question, Bill?" We're sitting at the back.
It's like a teacher in class.
Exactly.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
how are these press conferences not carried live? That started with Parcells, but this sounds like gold.
Oh,
right?
it was.
It was the best.
I was no, I'm good, whatever. So anyway, afterward, and to your point, afterwards, I see Jimmy out in the parking lot because that was back when the media got served lunch after the press conference.
We parked where the players parked.
So we were in the players' park. We park in the players' parking lot. So Jimmy goes out for his noontime jog after the press conference, and he's in the greatest mood ever. All of a sudden, and he yells at me. Hey, you got a question, Bill? You got a question like that? All he was doing was in front of the cameras. He wanted to get a message across to his team that, okay, this is a no-nonsense week, okay?
What's the message this week then?
Everything was premeditated, I guarantee you.
And usually, a lot of times, his message to the team was coming off a win.
Yeah.
A 40-7 win over Jacksonville.
That's what I was saying.
He would flip it around and make sure that they weren't eating the cheese, you know. And
Parcells.
That was Parcells. After a win,
straps.
he was harder on the team than after a loss.
Right. And so to your point, the way you do it this week is you flip it around maybe. And although maybe your team needs that confidence, that swagger they got from Conor McGregor on Sunday.
Yeah, that helped. I think the message this week is, and it's the same every week, but focus, lock in. They've got to be poised and focused on the road. They haven't done that so far, particularly offensively. And Zeke said it yesterday. Our communication has been, quote, terrible on the road. You know, and that's not just up front. You know, when people think, oh, offensive line, but it's everybody. So, and I think it's vocal, it's signals, it's whatever. They've got to find a way to just be more efficient on the road.
Or make less mistakes.
Yeah.
And if the communication's causing that, and by the way, today's a picture-perfect day of what Sunday's going to be in Landover, Maryland.
This is the forecast
I
out
checked
here?
it out. High of 52, low of 39, so it'll be getting down into the 40s by the time we start at 4:25 in the afternoon.
And what's the weather?
Sunny, but 17-mile-an-hour wind they're expecting.
Well, there's a chance of rain out here today, and I mean, in fact, there's dark clouds to the north right now, and so they may be practicing some in the rain too.
Now, Bucky's got it covered. He doesn't send them out there in the rain.
Yeah,
they do have music blaring already. So,
that's good.
All right.
It's a good thing.
So simulating things.
What do you think the message is this week?
I think you guys are going down the right path.
Yeah.
This team, it's, I don't know. We sit there, we kind of talk, and I know if we went around the room, and I started with me, I really don't know what they are. I want to believe. I think defensively, I know what they are.
Been pretty consistent.
But offensively, I don't know what they are. And that my thought is that they want to run the football, and they want to play action, and they want to do the spread the ball around if they can when they throw it. But I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I'm a little nervous about this when they start talking about communication, because that's so much important. That's so important to the game. The game plan, being able to convey, to make the calls, to get the signals on the outside, to turn around and tell Zeke, okay, this is the call. You got to block this guy over here on pass protection.
Right.
That to me bothers me. That bothers. But if that's the thing that's holding them back, I don't know. I don't know how Mickey's talking about, the mistakes and stuff like that. But if communications are leading to the mistakes, how do you correct that?
The only thing I worry about that is it sounds like a crutch. Because what did Jacksonville say after the game? Doug Maroney was all about, we had a lot of miscommunication out there. And it's like, okay, we're not bad.
Yeah.
We're just, is that like the excuse number one? Let's pull this down and blame it on miscommunication.
Do you think they know what they are? Do you think they know what they are offensively?
I think they know what they want to be, but they don't consistently get to it, Yeah. And I don't know, they haven't been able to adjust if a team takes away what they want to do. They just haven't been. Now, Home's been different. Home's been fairly efficient. I'm not even counting the Jacksonville game, but it's a totally different animal on the road. And I think
this guy's always had his team. Not that they're not ready, but he's played better on the road. His record will tell you that.
That's why all that stuff's BS.
The road record?
Yeah, the road record, the home record. AT&T is not a home field advantage, and now they're 3-0 at home and 0-3 on the road. How do you flip that?
But you don't see a trend there so far this season.
Well, I see.
I mean, they've been vastly different offensively on the road.
Here's the trend I see. Other than Jacksonville at home, the three teams they played on the road had much better defenses than what they played at home.
Yeah.
Much better.
Well, okay.
Carolina, Seattle, and Houston.
That's fine, but Jacksonville
supposedly Jacksonville did.
Yeah, I think they're frauds.
No, they're not frauds.
No, we'll see.
We'll see, but it's the same personnel that, pretty much had a historic run last year defensively.
Yeah,
I don't think they're a bad
year.
defense. Okay.
They haven't played
They're
well
not frauds. They're not frauds.
They didn't play defensively the last two games.
So are you not giving them credit offensively for what they did against a good defense?
No,
you think they did it against a bad defense?
I think
because it's one or the other.
No, I think they did well offensively.
Who's the best defense they played against?
Maybe. Okay. Forget the stats.
Yeah.
Just think about the games they played.
Houston's pass defense is horrendous.
Well,
but Houston's run defense was great against Dallas.
Absolutely.
And so from what Dallas wants to do offensively, Houston was probably the toughest matchup for them because of Houston's strength on defense.
And their front seven got them all mixed up with some different looks that they hadn't seen on film.
So it's more matchups, I think, than it is wherever they rank statistically. How do they match up against what you want to do?
Yeah. Who's the best defense?
Carolina, I think you got to throw that game out.
Okay, Carolina game out.
First game.
Yeah, they were just. It was awful.
Yeah,
it was awful all the way around.
Yeah.
Right.
Carolina was bad on offense too.
Yeah.
Right.
Except for the quarterback running around a little bit.
I still think Houston was. I think they were better than Seattle.
Which is why I think that the coach didn't go for it on 4th and 1 at the 42-yard line is because...
Guess who's tied for last in 3rd and 1 conversions? Ezekiel Elliott, 4 of 8 on 3rd and 1. And there are 19 running backs in the league that are 1,000% on 3rd and 1. So
not all 3rd and 1s are created equal, though.
No, I understand. Yeah. Not even 4th and 1.5, nearly 2.
Yeah. Frauds. Interesting. The
frauds. Those
interesting.
Jaguars.
Interesting. We're talking about this as on my drive in. I was listening to one of the
Cowboys
local
frauds of offense.
One of the local stations, and they were talking about the Cowboys' approach on offense, and they need to do exactly what they did against Jacksonville offensively this week. And if they don't, he was talking about running Dak more and that sort of thing. Okay. You know what they did differently against Jacksonville? They executed.
Yeah.
Okay. When he was talking about, they need to take that on the road. They need to do exactly what they did against Jacksonville.
Sure.
Well, okay, let's go back to the first drive of the game. And let's go ahead and complete a pass of 27 yards to Michael Gallup on
third and 9. Yeah, we're starting back. We were starting badly there.
Yeah, they got a field goal on that drive.
Sure.
They had a 3rd and 5, a 15-yard completion to Cole Beasley on the second drive that resulted in a touchdown.
Yeah.
They don't convert. They don't execute on 3rd and 9 and 3rd and 5, and they punt instead, and you got a scoreless game into the second quarter.
Absolutely,
it changes the whole complexion of the game.
Yeah.
They executed in this game.
Yeah. Is that just too easy to say? I mean, is that why it's too obvious? I mean, we're sitting here looking for all kinds of reasons. Is that just too obvious?
Early second quarter, they faced 3rd and 11 at the 48-yard line and complete a 21-yard pass to Cole Beasley to extend the drive, and it wound up being an 84-yard touchdown drive.
Yeah, and they got help on a 12-men on the field penalty on that one too, right? Was that
they were going to punt? Yeah,
they were going to punt there.
That was the next drive.
Oh, that was the next drive.
So they're facing 4th and 2, and they got 12 men on that. They were punting already on that drive.
Right.
So.
And even some of the Dak running stuff is a little misleading. I'm with everybody who says he needs to get out there and move and do some of those things to get the defense on their heels a little bit. But they've run read option all season at times. Maybe not as much in this last game, but it's also the way the defense is reading you. Dak had opportunities to keep the ball more in this last game because they were focusing in on Zeke so much. Some of it is the read. So, yeah, maybe it's just pure execution.
4 or 5 of the 11 runs he had were called. The rest they just happened.
Scrambled. Yeah.
Yeah, it was half and half.
It wasn't half and half. 4 or 5 is not half of 11.
On that note, we take your calls at 888-855-2297.
You went to a really good school, too.
Talking Cowboys continues in a moment.
As crazy as Mickey sounds, I have to agree with him.
Essilor has been helping Cowboys fans see better since 1972 so they don't miss a moment on the field. Get glasses with Essilor's best vision, clarity, and protection with the Essilor Ultimate Lens Package. 3 innovative technologies in one lens. For a limited time, you can double your lenses for free when you purchase the Essilor Ultimate Lens Package and get a second pair of frames. Find a participating eye care professional and details by visiting EssilorUSA.com. That's EssilorUSA.com. Terms and conditions apply.
If you're like me and you love... if you have a thing, then cutting the cord is scary. But then I found out I could switch to DirecTV Now and still get the live sports I love. No satellite needed, no bulky hardware, no annual contract, just...
Get the live sports you love. Try DirecTV Now for $10 a month for 3 months. Visit DirecTVNow.com. DirecTV Now. More for your thing. That's our thing. Use code REALDEAL. Limited time. Price for little package. After 3 months, renews monthly at full price. Currently minimum $40 unless canceled. Prices may change. New subscribers only. Cancel anytime. Content varies by package and may be limited. Restrictions apply.
A man's Stetson doesn't just protect him from life's elements. It projects an unstoppable and legendary spirit, just like the men wearing silver and navy on the field every Sunday. Since 1865, Stetson hats are American-made with pride right here in Texas. They are still the official crown of all self-respecting Cowboys. And Stetson is proud to be on the field with America's team. Find Stetson hats in the Pro Shop or at Stetson.com today.
Dr. Pepper is the one you crave. But how do you explain that craving?
Imagine being shipwrecked on a desert island, alone. Glass-like curls of surf pound the shore with Dr. Pepper-colored waves. Surrounded by desire, but you can't drink it because it's the ocean. Fish live in there. The only thing you want is Dr. Pepper, and you can't have it.
Now that is a Dr. Pepper craving. Dr. Pepper, the one you crave.
Back to Talkin' Cowboys.
Here in Cowboys country, we always ride with our boys, but when it comes to your underwear, you definitely don't want them riding up on your boys. That's why we always wear Tommy John, the revolutionary brand of underwear with stay-put waistbands, Brian, that keep everything in place. Tommy John, no adjustment needed. Shop exclusive Cowboys underwear at TommyJohn.com/Cowboys for 20% off your first order.
Can I have a reread of that first line, please? The senator from Texas would like a reread of the minutes.
Here in Cowboys country, we always ride with our boys.
Okay, next line, please.
But when it comes to your underwear, you definitely don't want them riding up on your boys.
Thank you very much.
Do you think there's somebody
That's
in the little copy room writing that, laughing as he's doing it? Somebody's going to have to read this.
Yeah, it's like
They have some great, brainstorming sessions over at Tommy John.
Let's before lunch. Let's make up some spots here. What do you think about this one?
I did copywriting for a few years before I came back, and
would you write something like that?
I didn't do bits. This is bits.
It's a good bit. We love Tommy John.
It's a good bit.
Did you have other euphemisms for parts of your body?
No.
Your boys?
Nestle up.
What the hell?
I don't think I ever heard that before.
I love it. I love it.
I don't think so.
Where's my script? I don't have a script.
Rob had an old one yesterday.
I didn't have one at all.
I'm telling you, those shows afters are stealing our stuff.
I just mentioned Kaboo, Texas yesterday.
Kaboo, Texas.
Kaboo, Texas. That's coming up May 10th through 12th.
That's right.
KabooTexas.com. Is that right?
Check it out.
It's spelled K-A-A-Boo.
That's
B-O-O.
right. That's right.
Bill can't remember the phone number, but he can remember how to spell.
Why can't I remember the phone number?
888-855-2297.
Okay. All right. 88. That would be Drew Pearson.
Yeah. Ooh.
88, Michael Irvin.
Okay.
55, who you want to go with?
Let's go with Leroy Jordan.
Leroy Jordan. Okay. 22, who are you going with?
I'll go with Emmitt Smith.
I was going Bob Hayes.
I know you were, but I tried to be a little fair. I didn't want to go all old
and
Cowboys.
97, who are you going
Taco.
with? 97.
Taco. Kent knew what he was doing.
He had it ready.
Okay, so give us a call at Drew Pearson, Michael Irvin, Leroy Jordan, Emmitt Smith, and Taco Charlton. What does it belong
I think it's
to?
easier to remember the numbers than the names.
Oh, gosh, we just confused the hell out of everybody. For sure.
Actually, it spells out TLKCBYS.
Okay.
That's even better.
Cowboys.
That's even better.
Say that
It really
again,
does.
Kent.
It's
spelled
888 TLKCBYS. If you're going to spell it out on your phone.
TLKCBYS. I'd rather go Drew Pearson, Michael Irvin, Leroy Jordan, Emmitt Smith,
Leighton
and
Vander Esch.
Taco Charlton. I was going to say you could go Leighton there.
Vander Esch.
Okay. So anyway, there's your phone number.
Kaboo.
Can I ask a real quick question?
Yes.
I'll try. Let me see if I.
These are left over from
these
yesterday.
left over yesterday. Mickey, you and Rob did a great job answering this question. How about this? If I could improve Dak Prescott in one area, what would it be? I was thinking about this question yesterday driving home. If I can improve Dak Prescott in one area, what would it be?
Stay as aggressive throwing the ball down the field as he was against Jacksonville.
Like that.
I
like that.
There was a difference against Jacksonville.
If you think about it, there was a couple passes that he threw, and Michael Gallup wasn't all that wide open.
Right.
And you're willing to live with
there.
possible consequences.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. As
That's
Tony
good.
Romo said, if you're not throwing interceptions, you're not trying.
That's a good
I
one.
like that.
Well, that's
one.
a good one.
And
That is-
in fact, when you look at the young quarterbacks around this league and the old quarterbacks around this league, they are doing that.
Well, how
Throwing it
about
with conviction down the field?
How about when we were talking with Dennis Thurman last night and talking about all the in 1985, they had 36 interceptions.
Yeah.
36 as a team. 33 by the DBs.
I watched him ruin Harold Carmichael's career. He knocked him under the bench one time. Harold Carmichael had like a 107-game consecutive streak. Thurman hit him so hard he drove him under the bench, the Philly bench, basically ended his career.
Whoa.
Thurman was he mean.
Yeah, well, one other note on Dennis Thurman last night, and you can check it out whenever it's posted.
Yes.
Cowboys Legends Show. It was great. Mick, that was a good getting Dennis Thurman on the show.
And it was just, I saw him and I said, you live here? He goes, I've lived
lived
here
here
for 8 years. And it's like, well, how
Yep.
come I didn't know that?
And of course, Dennis Thurman was an 11th round draft pick of the Cowboys in 1978. Played here 8 years, and then was with the Cardinals his last year for Gene Stallings, who of course was his secondary coach here.
Yeah.
And then he got into coaching, first with the Cardinals. He was at USC throughout the 90s, basically. In fact, he coached Chris Richard. He recruited Chris Richard to USC.
That was a good one on Bill that he kind of put that together.
Yeah, I figured that out during the course of the interview that he was there at that time. And then, of course, he was back in the NFL with the Ravens and then the Jets. But get a load of this. Okay, he played at USC, two-time All-American at USC.
Right.
And who was his teammate in the secondary?
Ronnie Lott.
Ronnie Lott.
Yeah.
Okay. and then get a load of the guys that he coached. Okay, and Ronnie Lott credits Dennis Thurman, even though he was just a peer of his, as being one of his mentors.
I think he was just a freshman when Thurman was a senior.
Okay, so he was a mentor to Ronnie Lott, and so then Dennis Thurman, he coaches. At USC, he had Troy Polamalu.
He did.
Okay. Yeah. And then with the Ravens, he had Ed Reed.
Ed Reed, right.
Deion Sanders was there as well.
That's true.
Then he goes to the Jets, and he has Revis with the Jets.
He does that.
So I asked him to put together his all-time secondary that he has mentored or coached in his career.
And did he give you the Bill Belichick answer of they're all below this guy? Did you hear that yesterday?
The
Belichick answer about Lawrence Taylor. Yeah, I wonder how he ranked those guys.
Yeah.
How did he?
And he threw McAllister in there as well with the Ravens.
Yeah, was, Chris McAllister.
Actually, Jason Sehorn he brought.
Yeah,
up
Jason Sehorn he brought up too. That he had. Where would he have had?
The Giants.
He wasn't with the Giants. Sehorn.
USC.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, he went to USC.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Okay. And so he started with Lott. And I have even prompted him on Lott. Okay, let's start with Lott. Okay.
Yeah, there you go. It's like Lawrence Taylor.
Polamalu was next, and then he mentioned Reed. He didn't even mention Deion. Deion was there for 2 years.
That was after
kind of a shell of a man. Yeah, shell of a player at that point in time.
So the other interesting thing was when he was at Southern Cal, Rod Marinelli was coaching there.
Yeah, Marinelli was there too.
Huh. So think about it. And when we went through it, he played or coached with or played for John McKay, Robinson, Tom Landry, and then Gene Stallings. And then when he was with the Cowboys, Ditka and Reeves were assistant coaches.
Right.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And I guess he was with Pete Carroll maybe at SC.
Yep. Sure was. They were turning that thing around in the 90s.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Early 2000s.
2000,
yeah.
So back on changing Dak.
Back to interceptions.
No, I mean, what do you got, Rob?
I think that's a really good one. There's times where I think he could just trust his protection a little bit more.
Yeah.
And I'm not that he's always seeing ghosts, but I think there's been times where he's been hit a lot and just
it's affected the way he's played.
Just hang in there, and stay poised. Yeah. And he's done that at times too. But
I like the word poised. I like that.
Pocket poise, and that I think that comes with experience too. But I like what Mickey said. They've got to and not be reckless, but just continue to but put that onus on the secondary, because that catch from Gallup early in the game, it
kind of got him going.
It loosened things up, and it made Jacksonville respect them a little bit.
I hope he continues, like you say, the aggressiveness. You say down the field. I just say overall.
Yeah.
Overall aggressiveness with the read option stuff, throwing the football, whatever he has to do to kind of get him going in the game. I'd love to see the anticipation. He made a couple of good anticipation throws. The one to Beasley in the middle of the field I thought was a good one when he was facing some pressure.
Yep.
But I'm with you guys on staying aggressive. I really am, because I think he's a better player when he's aggressive. I want to see him do more with it's running the ball, throwing the ball on the edge, staying in the pocket, breaking the pocket, whatever he has to do to continue to manufacture off. I think this offense feeds off that.
And I think when he gets some runs going, he gives him some juice.
Yeah,
and then they get their play action going, and then everything kind of works off of it.
Yeah.
I'm in agreement.
I like that.
You got anything on that?
Do you think they're having the same? I agree. I think the aggressive Ben, it goes against his nature of taking care of the football.
Right.
Yeah. And he still needs to have that, but at the same time, he needs to be more aggressive in his approach, I think. And I think he's starting to show that now. And a lot of that is trusting what they're doing, too.
Or trusting the receivers that make a catch.
Right.
Because, think about it. There's four.
And that they're going to be at the place where they're supposed to be, too.
Right. All his interceptions have been off his guys' hands.
Yeah.
So it's not like he's making bad reads.
Right.
Those are the ones you can't excuse.
Right.
But if you're being aggressive and a guy makes a nice play, okay, guy, he got me. I thought his high school coach made a great point after the game. Somebody asked him, "What did you tell Dak before the game?" And he said, "Just be Dak, and everything will be just fine."
Yeah, there you go.
And I think that sounds simple, but that's who he is.
Yeah, that's who he is.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Rodney Gwynn, the high school coach, Houghton High School, now at Calvary Baptist Academy in Shreveport. We're all familiar with that.
Football power.
Yeah, well, and we're all familiar with who came out of there.
The Calvary place.
The Booties, the Booty brothers, I think.
They would be Evangel Christian.
Oh, the Evangel Christian.
Evangel Christian is the powerhouse.
The powerhouse. Okay, I'm sorry.
Calvary Baptist. Do you know what Super Bowl winning coach coached there?
No, I don't. Oh, Doug Peterson.
Doug Peterson. 10 years ago, Doug Peterson,
that's where he
the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles, 10 years ago, 2008, he was the head coach at Calvary Baptist Academy in Shreveport, Louisiana. This was, of course, after his playing career, and then he got into coaching, and maybe his kids were that age. I don't know.
Was he from Shreveport?
He is.
Yeah, he's a Louisiana
He went
guy.
to school Louisiana Monroe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's right.
Northeast.
But he was for about 4 or 5 years. He was the head coach at Calvary Baptist Academy, and then I guess went to
Andy Reid brought him to Kansas City
right after that.
Right,
And
Philadelphia,
the rest,
Kansas
as they
City,
say, is history.
Yeah.
How amazing is that?
Yeah.
You go
Started
from
in high
being
school.
a private school in Shreveport, Louisiana, as the head coach there, and you win a Super Bowl less than 10 years later.
That's where he developed the Philly special, maybe? That's where it all started. That's where it all began, right down the road.
Maybe they need to hire Rodney then, huh? Something about coaching at that school.
9 years from now, or maybe Rodney Gwynn will be the head coach somewhere winning a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
All right. Do you think they're having the same conversation about Alex Smith, posing the same question about Alex Smith that you just posed about Dak Prescott on Talkin Redskins? What would you change about him? And the reason I ask that, there are similarities between Dak Prescott's approach and Alex Smith's approach.
Yeah, I think that that Jay Gruden has come out and said they need more from him.
Mm-hmm.
They need more with the and I'll tell you, I give him some credit. They found the fountain of youth with Adrian Peterson running the football, and the 3 wins they've had, he's averaged 104 yards carrying the ball. The losses, they haven't played as well running the football, but yeah, I think that if you look at Alex Smith, he's never going to do anything that's going to beat you. As far as beat the team he plays for, but he's never going to do anything that makes you think like, okay, he's the reason why they're winning this game today. I think Kirk Cousins was a better weapon to have to, or a harder weapon to have to deal with when watching Redskin tape than I did with Alex Smith and what I've seen from Alex Smith.
Okay. Yeah.
I think the threat of the pass is greater with Kirk Cousins. The payoff of bigger plays was bigger with Kirk Cousins than it was. It's an interesting decision that they made, the Redskins did, to get rid of Kirk Cousins to bring this guy on.
Yeah, some of it had to be money too, right?
I think that Alex Smith signed a pretty significant deal. I don't think it was the same. I don't have the money in front of me, but I would think that it was. They never were going to reward Kirk Cousins for the way he played, but maybe they felt like that. Hey, Kirk Cousins puts up huge numbers and never wins.
And you're right about Smith in terms of he won't beat you. Cousins will turn the ball over at times. He'll throw it to the other team, and Smith has been more efficient with that throughout his career. He's also more versatile. He's kind of like Dak in that he'll
run.
He's an underrated guy, mobile.
Yeah.
One thing that Gruden did say specifically was he needs to get the ball out quicker.
Yeah,
and I'm sure he looks at Tank coming to town and saying, we can't, you got to get
and
rid of
others.
this. And others, David Irving, all these guys. All of a sudden, this is the deepest D-line we've seen in a while here.
Yeah.
4 years, $94 million for Alex Smith.
Yeah.
Signing bonus was $27 million.
And then the other guy was guaranteed.
55.
The other guy got $88 million. How much was guaranteed on that?
Well, it's guaranteed
thing,
at signing $55 million. The total guaranteed $71 million on Alex Smith's deal.
See, so
71.
That's
$71 million.
$17 million less, I believe, than
because all of his 85 was
guaranteed.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, for that much guaranteed, I need my quarterback to do better than the last 3 games of completing 60%, 59%, and 58.3%.
Yeah.
But Alex Smith, the last 5 years or so, I saw a graphic on their game last week where he is the 3rd winningest quarterback in the National Football League the last 5 years. Since 2011, in his time with San Francisco, starting at a certain point of his career in San Francisco, he's got 72 wins and 33 losses as a starting quarterback in this league. I mentioned that to Jason Garrett, the taping of the Jason Garrett show yesterday. He said, look back at high school. And in high school in California, he lost one game in high school. And look at his time in college. He was 21-1 as a starter.
Yeah,
Urban
Meyer. With Urban Meyer, I
Yeah.
believe, as the guy. Yeah.
So, I mean, the best thing that he does is he wins.
See, but I think a lot of his winning is who is around him.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't get that vibe of, oh, this guy's going to go out there and he's going to make X amount of throws and he's going to be if you shut things down around him, I don't see that. But he's been on the numbers say he's been on winning teams, but I don't feel him that way.
Well, we've had this discussion with regard to Dak. Like there's a handful of guys in this league that just load up on their shoulders and they'll get it. They'll find a way to get it done. Protection's not great. Receivers aren't great. And
Rodgers.
Rodgers is one of them.
Yeah. And
there's a couple others. And Smith is in that probably next level of guys that, if he's got weapons, he can be dangerous because he's not going to really beat himself. But he does need guys around him, and having Jamison Crowder back would certainly help for them. But he didn't practice again yesterday for Washington, so he's been out with the ankle.
And Thompson I was just looking at it.
Boy, if both those guys don't play, that's a huge break for the Cowboys. I think those guys have the capability of Thompson, especially the way they throw him the football. He can make plays out of the backfield, and if you're not covering in the flats and you're not covering underneath, and he's one of those guys that you hand it to him occasionally, and then he's got a burst run for 14 yards.
And yet they didn't have either one of those guys last week, and they won over Carolina.
Yeah. I don't know what Carolina's up to.
And a couple of their offensive linemen are DNP'd yesterday.
Yeah.
Scherf.
Yeah, he's the right guard.
And Laveo.
He's the
Laveo.
They've struggled. They've struggled at guard, and what's happened is, I'm going to say the guy's name wrong. It's Chase Roulier. He usually plays center. So what they've had to do is they've had to play him at left guard, and then Tony Bergstrom has played at the center spot. So they're using basically two centers inside, and but they still got Trent Williams is still very capable. I'm going to write about him today. He's the breakdown of the matchup with him and having to deal with Taco, and then also with Randy Gregory having to rush over there. You cannot let this guy get his hands on you. You have to do everything in your power to get small to rush this guy. Because if he does, I've seen him two-hand punch guys and they've gone off the screen. When I'm watching tape, they go completely off the screen. And I'm like going, oh my God.
Power. Strength.
Yeah, power and strength. They drafted him in 2010 when this division had great defensive ends, those pass rushing defensive ends. He was the Tyron Smith, the answer that the Cowboys. The Cowboys had to do something with their offensive line. But this guy's a 4th overall pick out of Oklahoma, and he's played at a high level for a long time.
This was D. Ware. They had to match.
Yeah, they had to match, and then
Philly
Philly had guys, Giants. Giants had guys. Everybody had guys at that time that can really rush the passer, and he was the answer to not getting your team killed because he could play over there and be really effective doing it.
So what do you see from Morgan Moses, the right tackle?
That's where you're going to have to make some hay. That is where Morgan Moses is one of those guys that could play really well for 50 plays, and then 6 plays he will give up the goat. He will find a way to get overextended, off balance. The way that Lawrence can rush him is that, again, don't show him the same move. Make him have to move. He's a long guy, really long-limbed guy. So when he gets going one way, it's hard for him to come back the other way. So if you could get him to move, get him a little bit off balance, that's the one thing that Lawrence can do. We've seen him on some of those twist stunts too. When they make those guys have to move a little bit, it gives those offensive linemen, some problems. So Morgan Moses would be the guy that I would attack, and Williams would be a guy if I could just get 1 or 2 really good rushes off him. Don't let him win every single snap, but maybe get 1 or 2 from Randy Gregory. I think that would be that's something that this defense could really, really use.
So what you're saying is you get Moses off balance a little bit there, you might see the parting of the Red Sea.
You might see the parting.
My goodness gracious.
And Talkin Cowboys continues in a moment.
If you're like me and you love... if you have a thing, then cutting the cord is scary. But then I found out I could switch to DirecTV Now and still get the live sports I love. No satellite needed, no bulky hardware, no annual contract, just...
Get the live sports you love. Try DirecTV Now for $10 a month for 3 months. Visit DirecTVNow.com. DirecTV Now. More for your thing. That's our thing. Use code REALDEAL. Limited time. Price for little package. After 3 months, renews monthly at full price. Currently minimum $40 unless canceled. Prices may change. New subscribers only. Cancel anytime. Content varies by package and may be limited. Restrictions apply.
It's time for tailgating with the OtterBox boys.
The OtterBox that builds those crazy protective phone cases?
Yup, and now they're changing the side dish game with the OtterBox Trooper Soft Cooler. Lightweight, mobile, and leak-proof, Trooper is perfect for blitzing a crowded parking lot with a Frito pie.
Amazing. Hey, you think I could fit my 7-layer salmon salad into the Trooper cooler?
Yup, but please don't.
And that's been Tailgating with the OtterBox boys. Learn more about the Trooper soft coolers at otterbox.com.
While a player can look good on paper, it's when he's out on the field that you really find out what he's made of. That's why the Cowboys rely on more than just stats and scouting reports when building their team. When picking a tractor, it's why you should rely on more than just specs and features. You've got to take it out and put it to the test. The Cowboys did when they named John Deere their official tractor. Experience one for yourself. Visit myjohndeeredealer.com/football.
It can be hard to find the right resource for learning about important financial matters. You search how to build savings, you end up reading about the one weird ingredient from supermarkets that can make you taller. That's why Bank of America built BetterMoneyHabits.com, a safe little corner of the internet for answering your financial questions. Full of simple videos and tips, Better Money Habits can show you how to make the most of your money without resorting to random searches that always seem to lead to unbelievable photos of childhood stars grown up. To learn more, visit BetterMoneyHabits.com.
Essilor has been helping Cowboys fans see better since 1972 so they don't miss a moment on the field. Get glasses with Essilor's best vision, clarity, and protection with the Essilor Ultimate Lens Package. 3 innovative technologies in one lens. For a limited time, you can double your lenses for free when you purchase the Essilor Ultimate Lens Package and get a second pair of frames. Find a participating eye care professional and details by visiting EssilorUSA.com. That's EssilorUSA.com. Terms and conditions apply.
Back to Talkin' Cowboys.
So hopefully by now you understand what Get Jack Black means, because Jack Black is what the pros use, what everybody at this table uses right now to revitalize our skin. And if you get those Jack Black 4 faves for $10 and free shipping, all you have to do is use the code Cowboys. GetJackBlack.com.
It's kind of herky-jerky there in the middle, you know?
Well, you got to think a little bit, you know?
It's kind of the car kind of stalls out for a second, and then, oh, here we go. Head up that hill.
It's that $10, you know?
You'll get that read back one of these days.
Yeah, it's sitting on my desk right now.
Oh, is it? So you have it.
Oh, I laminated it.
You laminated it, and then you forgot it.
And I leave it on my desk 2 days in a row.
I know the feeling, Mickey. I said that yesterday.
What I enjoy is Rob watching you.
Yeah, see, I don't need to read anything. You know?
No, you kind of do.
You kind of do.
But everybody's listening, right?
That's right.
And now their promo just lasted another 30 seconds.
It's kind of like when I worked in Lubbock, and we had this was way back. You know, in Good Morning America, they would have the local cut-ins, and they'd put the least experienced news anchor on the local cut-ins in Small Market USA. And my wife and I were just married, and we used to. She would delay going to work just so she could watch the 7:25 cut-in to watch. Not to say, Mickey, you
see a train wreck. To see a train wreck.
That's exactly
right?
what he's saying. He's saying Mickey the train wreck.
Anyway,
but everybody knows Jack Black.
Yeah,
don't
that's
they?
right.
Oh,
as a matter of fact, they're probably going to send me more product
right.
any
They
minute.
should.
Exactly
They should.
right.
Absolutely, they should.
Keep it in your pockets during the show for an hour.
You're never going to get a news script. They're going to want you
That's
to
right.
just ad-lib
Just do
every time, just because people are hanging on the podcast just to hear Mickey read the Jack Black, or try to. All right, Jim in California, you're up on Talking Cowboys. Hello, Jim.
Good morning. Thanks for taking my call. Hey, I really felt the tight ends were blocking better against Jacksonville. I felt they were assignment sound and very aggressive, and I think that makes the difference for our offensive line, for Zeke on his cutback plays, and where we pull the guards around. I think that's a big improvement. I felt Jacksonville had an answer in the third quarter, but they fumbled it away, and then as usual, Bortles just made a bad decision and threw into triple coverage.
Sure.
And that just kind of took the wind out of their sails. I feel the defense is playing better on third and long. We're not giving up the go routes in zone like we did in the beginning of the season, which is really nice. That means we're able to run man and zone. You guys mentioned Chris McAllister earlier in the
Arizona.
show. Got to coach him in high school.
Oh, really? There you go.
Absolutely wonderful kid.
Great athlete, too.
Just a wonderful guy. He was picked in the first round, second DB off the board.
Right.
Trivia question. Do you remember the first DB off the board that year?
What year would that have been?
I think 2001. Try to do it without looking it up.
No, I'm not going to look it up here. 2001, but I was working in the team.
2001.
And what number did McAllister
like
go off?
11? Was
he might have gone at 11
or
12.
So this would be a top 10 pick, 2001.
Was Champ Bailey that year? Or was
Champ Bailey.
Oh! Ding, 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 ding. Rob Phillips comes through.
There was a marquee game Chris had at U of A against Ohio State to put him on the map. He shut down a marquee receiver. Do you remember who that was?
Against USC?
No,
Ohio State.
Ohio State.
I'm saying, is it Joey Galloway?
Galloway was already out.
Because
the Cowboys
he was with
traded
us.
for him.
Yeah. So I'm thinking marquee wide receiver 2001. David Boston. When was David Boston?
There you go.
Yeah.
Ding, 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 ding. Brian brought us. Okay, let's shoot another one at us.
All right, Coach.
Maybe Bill and I can get one right.
All right, Coach.
Have a great day.
Yeah, thank you.
Great. That was
You know what?
Good observation, by the way.
I like the thought about the tight ends and the point of attack and getting the guards and the tackles and the centers, everybody around. That's really key. You know, what kills those plays? Penetration. Mm-hmm. Penetration. If they're able to continue to get some type, I'm not talking about they have to get movement like, you would, give them 2-3 yards off the ball, but if they could just maintain the leverage, maintain position, and allow these tackles and these guards and these centers to get around, Zeke's going to find ways. Zeke's got that sneaky ability to, when it looks like a really small area, he kind of squirts for an extra 4 or 5 yards the closer you get to the sideline.
Yep.
So, I'm all for that. Those guys can continue to block that way, then keep running the ball that way. Those counter plays.
Think about this with Blake Jarwin. This is probably the first time he's been asked to block.
Yeah,
he wasn't. They didn't ask him that at Oklahoma State,
not
right?
At all. Not
he
at
was
all.
off the line, tight end down
he was
the
a tall
field,
wide
right?
receiver. Basically, was a tall wide receiver.
That's the way Oklahoma State plays.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and he didn't play last year.
Yeah,
basically. So, maybe 4, 5, 6 games in, he's maybe kind of getting the hang of it a little bit.
Can I ask a question, though? I mean, not a question I normally have, but a question. You're talking about Blake, but is there any merit to trying to play to try and get Dalton Schultz going at all? I mean, we've seen, and I'm just asking if it's Taco. I mean, it's not Taco. If it's going to be Rico and Swain, and you drafted Schultz, and Mickey, you made a good point about Dalton Schultz blocking, haven't been asked to block. But has he made the plays down the field? Is he? I mean, is it if you're
had an opportunity
if you're getting
down the field.
if you're getting just one of something, and I am not trying to hurt the kid here. I'm just saying though, you did draft Dalton Schultz to be a blocker, and the way that they've thrown some of these rookies out there. With Leighton Vander Esch, and then, we're starting to, hopefully you get the wide receiver going. Is it worth it to say, okay, if you're not getting the total package to go ahead and give Dalton Schultz some of those snaps?
Because it's a good question. Because
I don't know if it's
one
a
of
good
the things,
question, but
just because he's been inactive doesn't mean they haven't given up on Dalton Schultz.
That's what I'm saying, though. Have you seen enough? And again, Mickey made a good point about the guy has never blocked. I'm not talking about Schultz. I'm talking about Jarwin. But have you seen enough of him to say, wow, he's maybe holding up what you could get from Dalton Schultz?
Well, yeah, I mean, and he did it. He had a nice block on the Dak touchdown run.
He sure did. He blocked 2 on that play.
But you were hoping he'd give you more in the passing game down the field. He had an opportunity to make a catch, deep catch, dropped it off his hands.
If you could have a blocker or a catcher, which one would you take right now?
God, I mean, you kind of need both. It'd be nice to have another option in the passing game.
Weren't they somewhat disappointed in Schultz's blocking though, coming out of training camp preseason?
See, he did not play, or he did not show what was able to show at Stanford. That part of it has been. That part of it itself has been.
What part of his blocking did you not? Was he not strong at the point of attack?
Yeah, the problem.
So I wonder if maybe they're working with him on that.
Yeah, I mean, when you're not active, then you're generally a scout team guy. So I'm just saying, do they figure out like, okay, listen, we're not. Let's see if we can get this guy going. Let's see if we can. It's like the Michael Gallup thing. I keep saying that, but Mickey's right about that. Get him the football. Try to get him going. See if you can kind of take the learning curve for Leighton Vander Esch is 0. The learning curve, it looks like for everybody else, is a little bit so. But how do you do that? Do you play him if you feel good about Swaim and Rico seems to be going up in his ability? Does having Schultz getting reps, working as a blocker, and maybe they feel like that since he's been active that he's improved his strength a little bit, and maybe he's improved his technique.
That's what I'm wondering. Maybe he's working in more in the weight room now, and getting stronger.
And he's getting now the game isn't too. Now the game. It's hard to believe that a player from Stanford would be too big. But early on, it looked like the game was too big.
Well, I think Bill said it. I think just watching him in practice, he wasn't as strong at the point of attack than maybe you expected.
Oh, how about those times in the one on the compete things?
One-on-ones.
And we're like going, oh.
But
Damian
the other
Wilson
thing,
just knocking him to the ground.
The other thing to remember about him is that he's younger than the other tight end. He's 2 years younger than everybody else.
Right.
He's 22 years old.
Right.
No
I just looked up Jarwin's 24, Swaim's 25, and Rico's 24.
To me, it's a little like Connor Williams. Give him an off season. Give him a full off.
Yeah, and they've thrown Connor Williams out there, knowing the warts.
And I hear your point because what Jason Garrett always says is that young guys need to play. The only way they're going to get better is to get to play. Now,
but all these guys are young guys.
They are. The question is, has he shown them enough in things we don't see to say, hey, we can give him a few reps and he won't hurt us, and maybe he can help us? I don't know.
Because you know what? With these tight ends, all you're asking them to do is number one, don't get run over.
Right. Get in the way.
And number two, just shield.
Shield.
I mean, Witten wasn't pancaking anybody out
sure
there.
wasn't.
Right?
No. Just kind of, ward
James
them off
Hanna,
a little bit.
James Hanna's the one guy that could get into somebody and run a little bit, and then if you ran with him, he could turn you. But Mickey's right. I just but I just trying to say, okay, how to kind of bring Dalton Schultz back into the mix, and maybe not make this year a waste for him. That maybe he's better than Blake Jarwin as a blocker, and then you can develop some of the other things.
It's a thought for sure.
Yeah, we'll see.
We have a lot of good thoughts here on Talking Cowboys,
and maybe we'll express them someday. Maybe tomorrow when we come back here on Talking Cowboys.
We might part the Red Sea.
This has been a